Dead Space, rewriting and improving the story of a horror classic. Dead Space is an upcoming survival horror game developed by Motive Studio and published by Electronic Arts. A remake of the 2008 game of the same name developed by EA Redwood Shores, it is scheduled to be released on January 27, 2023, for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X/S. It is the first release in the Dead Space series since 2013's Dead Space 3. The game retains the same basic plot as the original. Set in the 26th century, the story follows engineer Isaac Clarke, a crewman on a repair vessel assigned to the USG Ishimura, a massive planetary mining ship that has gone silent. While investigating a distress call sent by the ship's medical officer Nicole Brennan, Isaac's girlfriend, the vessel's crew is attacked by mutated human corpses. Isaac is forced to fend for himself as he tries to save his surviving crewmates and learn the truth behind the loss of Ishimura. EA has opened its Dead Space Remake pre-order options up, meaning you can now secure various editions of the game ahead of launch. You'll want to act fast if you want the Dead Space Remake Collector's Edition, which includes a fully wearable replica of Isaac's helmet. If you click the link above, you'll also find more information on the Dead Space Remake price for all 3 editions. There's also a digital deluxe edition to consider via the Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox storefronts, which includes the base game and 5 exclusive cosmetics. Games journalist Jeff Grubb of GamesBeat reported that a remake of Dead Space was in development at Motive on July 1, 2021. He speculated that the success of EA's single-player Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order, 2019, and Capcom's remakes of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 were instrumental in the publisher's decision to greenlight the Dead Space remake. The game is being developed using EA's proprietary Frostbite engine, which Motive Studios previously used to develop Star Wars, Squadrons and the single-player campaign of Star Wars Battlefront 2. The game will retain the same story and structure as the original but feature redesigned assets, character models, and environments. The developers intend to take advantage of SSDs on the 9th generation of consoles to have the game be presented as an uninterrupted sequence shot, absent of loading screens. Content that was removed from the original game due to technical constraints may also be added. The game will not feature any microtransactions, in contrast to Dead Space 3, where the addition of microtransactions resulted in a negative reception. The art director for the game, Mike Yazajan, previously worked as art director at EA Montreal, assisting Visceral Games in developing Dead Space 2. The original Dead Space was noted for its audio design, and the team are intended to stay true to the original atmosphere while improving and modifying where necessary. The original musical score by Jason Graves was retained, with new musical elements and cues composed by Trevor Gureckis. Gunnar Wright will be reprising his role as Isaac Clarke, who will be fully voiced, like his appearances in Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3. Tanya Clark is also reprising her role as Nicole Brennan from Dead Space 2. The other cast members include Anthony Alabi as Zach Hammond, Bridget Callie Canales as Kendra Daniels, and Farron Tahir as Chalice Mercer. Dead Space went gold on December 15. The Dead Space remake gameplay is survival horror at its finest. If you haven't played the 2008 original, you should expect a tense and atmospheric crawl through the hull of the USG Ishimura, a vast mining ship, overrun with hostile creatures called necromorphs. You play as Isaac Clarke, an engineer who is forced to board the Ishimura to repair the ship, locate his missing partner, and save his crew before it's too late. The thing is, Isaac isn't equipped to deal with the escalating terrors of the ship, and has to gather any weapons and resources that he can to survive. Something you should know about the necromorphs is that they aren't easily killed. These warped human figures must be strategically dismembered to stop them from coming after you. Using a new version of the iconic Dead Space plasma cutter, you'll be able to flay flesh and break bones, ripping enemies limb from limb until they stop moving. It's a horrifying and totally gratifying experience, as we learned in our Dead Space Remake gameplay preview where we went hands-on with the first 3 chapters of the game. Dead Space also punches up its stomach-churning combat with special abilities, as your engineer RIG can be outfitted with new powers such as stasis and kinesis, designed to help make an engineer's life easier. They have surprisingly good application for ripping necromorphs apart too. It's also worth mentioning Dead Space's stunning diegetic design, with all of menus and player information presented in universe. Isaac's hit point meter is built into the spine of his suit, for example, while inventory and map management is holographically projected and handled in real time. This method of UX design was incredibly impressive in 2008, and that remains the case here in 2023. The game was announced at EA's Play Live event on July 22, 2021, accompanied by a teaser trailer, with an initial target release date of late 2022. On March 11, 2022, it was announced that the game was being pushed to early 2023. On October 4, 2022, a gameplay trailer for Dead Space was released which revealed the game's release date to be January 27, 2023.